Hello guys, welcome back to this channel. So in this tutorial we'll be developing or designing a complete residential project in Revit, and this video likely is going to be two parts because it's going to be a little bit longer, but you have the opportunity to see various ways to apply materials and basically how to import a CAD file into Revit, a CAD file from AutoCAD into Revit, because I already designed the floor plan using AutoCAD. So I'm going to import it now into Revit and then use Revit to develop or design the 3D. So you also see how to apply some basic materials, some building components, the roof system, the windows, the doors, and all that. So let's get into it. So like I said, the tutorial is going to be from the scratch, and if you come to the elevation, maybe the east elevation for example, not now. If you come to the east elevation for example, you see the various levels of the building indicated here. So I have my base, I have my ground floor with the interval of 450. Then I have my ceiling level and also the roof level. So if you've not done that, I encourage you to do so. Create your levels of the building and with the desired height. Okay, so my building height, I want my building height to be 3.23 meters height from the FFL to the ceiling level, 3 meters. Then the roof, from the ceiling level I want it to be 300, because we are going to do a concrete fascia for the building. The height we have here will be for the concrete fascia, 300 mm. So when you've done that, then I need to locate the base. This is my base profile. Then I want to import my CAD from AutoCAD now into Revit. So just come to insert here, then click on link CAD like we have here. So locate the part where you have your AutoCAD file. So this is the particular file which contains the floor plan that we want to design using Revit. So I'm going to click open. Good, so this is the floor plan here. So it is recommended that you only retain the floor plan needed for the design on the CAD file. So remove all other drawings you have on the CAD file except for the floor plan you have here. So I'm going to move this a little bit to the center of the drawing, maybe something like this. Good. So you can see the floor plan imported from AutoCAD successfully, and this floor plan is plotted using scale 1 to 100 in AutoCAD. So it's recommended that you let your graphic scale on Revit matches with the scale you used to plot the floor plan in AutoCAD. So now that we've imported the floor plan, the next thing to do is to use wall component to trace out all of this wall we have here, all the external walls, the internal walls, and maybe this wall as well in this terrace. Of course, we'll make use of edit profile on this entrance area and also on this exit door area. So the next thing is locate your wall component in Revit. It's under architecture tab. You can see the wall here, wall. So when you click on the wall, we need to choose the appropriate wall thickness. The wall thickness I used in AutoCAD was 150, so I'm going to choose 150 wall here. So I'm going to use this generic 150 wall thickness. So the thickness is already 150, so I'm not changing that. Then your location line, let it be in core face exterior, because we'll be tracing right on the external outline of the walls round. So it's appropriate to use core face exterior. If you use curve face interior, then it means you're going to be tracing from the internal outline of the wall. So doing that, I'm going to trace around the building first. I like to trace out the external wall first, the main external walls. Good. So this is quite faster if you have the floor plan already plotted in AutoCAD instead of coming to Revit and having to be offsetting each and every walls. Okay, so let's trace the internal walls. And remember to change the constraints of your walls before you go too far. Let's check the properties of this wall. So I set my walls to be from base. I want the base constraint to be in base, and then the top constraint to be in ceiling level, which is correct. So I need to change the rest of the wall. So I can just come here and say select similar, select all instances in entire project, but I do not want to select this one, so I'm going to deselect that because that is corrected already. So the base constraint of this, I'm going to change it to base. Good. So if you've done this setting from the start, you do not need to follow this process here. Good. So let's trace the internal walls. Ensure you're making use of the appropriate wall thickness, 150. So let me change the base right now to the base constraint to base. So trace this, trace this. Good. Okay, so I'm going to trace this vertical internal walls, and then this toilet walls here. Sorry. Very nice. So I need this wall to extend down to this part. Alright. So we have some internal walls here. Then some internal walls here. Then we have one internal walls here. Okay. Very nice. So try to ensure that all the needed walls have been drawn out. Then I need to extend these walls. Of course, I know there will be an opening from the sitting room to the dining area, which will be done later on. Then I need to have a wall on this entrance area as well. Okay. Very nice. So now we've traced out all the wall outline using the wall components. So just to ensure that all the walls have the same base constraints, I'm going to click on one of the wall sample. Then I'm going to right click, then come to select all instances in entire project. Yes. Then all the walls will be highlighted. Good. You can see that the base constraint varies, meaning that some of the walls have their base constraint to be in base, while some have their base constraint to be in ground floor. So I want all to be in base. Very nice. Good. So you can have a view of all the walls we've been erecting in the 3D view. That's what we have here. You can use a 3D view to check. So basically all the internal and external walls have been traced out. Alright, so having done that, the next thing we would want to do is the floor. So we need to create a floor, and I want the floor to be in ground floor level. So I'm going to go to the ground floor level, which we have here, and then I'm going to click on the floor component, and then choose the appropriate floor thickness here. So I want a concrete 150 mm thick floor. Then the level, I want it to be ground floor level. Very nice. So I'm going to make use of the line tool, then trace around the building, basically the entire building. Good. So ensure the lines are properly joined together. So I'm going to finish edit mode. Good. So let's see what we have in 3D, or perhaps in section. So usually there's a default section outline when you create in Revit. So I'm going to move mine a little bit to the building. Then I'm going to double click on this arrow to view section, or perhaps you right click and say go to view. Good. So there you can see our floor component, which is in ground floor level. Alright, so the next thing, there we have our floor already, and then you can see the floor material that will be changed later. So let's work on the openings. We can start with the entrance porch. So this is the entrance porch, the main entrance porch. So we want to edit this opening. So the design of this opening is going to be a kind of suspended beam. That is what we want to have on this opening. So there will be no columns in this angle. It's just going to be suspended beam only. So we can edit that profile maybe in the 3D view. Okay, we're in 3D view already. So click on this arrow to see the front view. Is that the front view? Yeah. Good. So this is the wall with which we want to edit the profile for. So I'm going to click on the wall, then say edit profile. Good. So we're going to have this outline. So basically this red outline is indicating the area of the current wall. So whatever openings you create using maybe a rectangle or anything is going to create exactly that hole on that wall. So we want to reduce this wall height now. We are going to reduce it from the base here. We want to reduce it down to the top. So from the ceiling to the level of the beam underneath, I want it to be 500. So you can use the offset feature. So we can come here, so this is the offset here, then input the parameters of the offset 500 downward. Good. And I need to draw a line here because I want the wall from the base to the ground floor to remain. So now I'm going to have a line here. Then I can trim off these two middle line. So I need to split that first. Split anywhere at the center. Then use the trim to trim off the middle lines. Good. Then we can say okay. So we have the walls already opened. Then come back to this view and then click on this other wall, then use the left view, then do the same process. So in this case we do not need to offset because you can see the outline of the front wall already done previously. So we can trace from that line down to this one too, and then we can trace here as well. Then we can split, use the split feature, split here, split on this other side as well. Then use the trim. The shortcut is TR. This mouse. Good. Trim it off as well. Very nice. So we can say okay. So this is what we have. Good. So that's the suspended beam. So let's go back to the exit door area. This is the exit door area. This is the wall here. So the view would